Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. We are here today because the state has charged Peter with assault while hunting. The prosecution wants you to believe that Peter intentionally tried to harm someone. But the facts of the case will show that this was not an attack, it was a hunting accident. The law is clear in that it states that assault requires intent. It is not enough for the state to simply show that harm occurred. For the state to prove assault, they must show beyond a reasonable doubt that Peter intended to cause another person harm. That intent is what separates an accident from a crime. Without intent, there is no assault. Therefore, for Peter to be guilty, he would have had to intentionally hurt someone, and the evidence of the case will show that his actions were purely unintentional. The facts of this case are that Peter was out in the woods on a legal hunting trip. He carried his firearm properly, followed ordinary hunting practices, and had no reason to aim at or threaten another person. He saw movement in the woods, believed it was an animal, and fired, something every hunter in this state has done countless times. Only after pulling the trigger did he realize his mistake. It was not a deer or an animal, but a person. His first reaction was not anger, hostility, or violence. It was purely shock and concern. He did not try to run, hide, or cover it up. His actions after the shot represent his true character, which is a responsible hunter who never meant for this to happen. This was a mistake, a terrible mistake, but not a crime. The state may argue that Peter was reckless or careless. However, recklessness is entirely different than intent. The law requires proof that Peter meant to cause harm, and you will see no evidence of this happening. It is also important to think about what intent would look like. If Peter had pointed his rifle directly at the other person to threaten them, raise his voice, made a direct threat, or deliberately taken aim at a human being, then there would be intent. None of these happened, therefore there will be no evidence that Peter acted aggressively or that he intended to cause harm. The only evidence is that he was hunting, following normal practices, and made an error in his judgment. You will also hear that Peter immediately tried to help the person once he realized what had happened. So the question for you is simple. Did Peter intend to cause harm? The answer is no. He intended to hunt and nothing more. As you listen to this case, you will hear from witnesses who will tell you that Peter was acting as a responsible hunter. You will see that he was following ordinary practices, and you will learn that the events of that day do not meet the legal requirements for assault. At the end of this trial, when you weigh all of the evidence, you will see that Peter is not guilty of assault. It is clear that what happened that day was an unfortunate accident and not an intentional crime. Thank you for your time.